One night a comedian might have a great audience and be a smash. The next night he might run into a heckler that can destroy him no matter how funny he is.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the man you've all been waiting for, the star of our bombastic review, the funniest guy in the entire world. Here he is, Larry Chong.
Thanks a lot, Harry. Harry's our mic man. Give my regards to the missus. Hope you come out of that operation all right. Pleasure to be back in this town. It's one of my favorite towns. My mother and father told me on their honeymoon they were passing through this town. A guy fixed their flat for them, so it's always a pleasure to be here. Well, you look like a pretty nice crowd. I guess I'll do some of my good stuff. This is my 48th consecutive week here at the Kit Kat Club. Boss told me if I do a good show tonight, I won't have to park the cars anymore. Boss said if I do a good show, I won't have to park the cars anymore. I'd like to give you some of my impressions. I've added a lot to my act since you saw me on my 47th week. I've added impressions. Most guys do impressions of Ed Sullivan, Edward G. Robinson, James Cagney. All my impressions are original. I'd like to give you the first. It's my impression of a rock. Now I'd like to give you my impression of two rocks. Now I'd like to give you my impression of a pile of rocks in the desert in the afternoon.
I wish I was near a pile of rocks tonight.
If you don't mind, sir, I work by myself.
You keep that up, you'll be here by yourself.
Don't you think you've had enough to drink?
Not yet, I can still see you.
I'm trying to do my job. Do you think this is fun?
Not so far.
Sir, don't make me have to come over there.
I can't keep you from coming, but I can slow your departure.
Didn't I see you on Marcus Welby as a guest disease? Friends, as I was saying, my wife had a terrible experience last week. She lost her wallet. You know, had her credit cards in it. But we haven't reported to the police yet because the guy who found it is spending less than she did. Finally got it rolling. I'd like to tell you what happened to me on the way to the football game.
Hey, buddy.
Like I was saying about the football game.
You want to buy a hot?
A hot what?
Hot anything. I had a great week.
Fella, why don't you give me a break? I only have 3 weeks to live.
I'll be back in 4 weeks.
For your information, fella, it takes a lot to be funny. You gotta have heart. You gotta know jokes. You gotta have timing.
Timing? What's that?
Well, timing is how long a comic has to wait for his laughs.
What do you use, a calendar?
Look, if you think you can do any better, why don't you come up here?
I will come up here if you come down here, because I don't want to be seen on the same stage with you.
Okay, let's have a guest artist. Let's give it a hand and bring him on. This is a mic, if you don't know.
Hi, Mike. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kit Kat Club. It's good to be here tonight. It's good to be anywhere tonight. I can tell you my kind of audience. Bunch of drunks. Let me tell you a few stories about my wife. I got an ugly wife. So ugly, she looked like King Kong sucking Chinese mustard out of a hot jelly sauce. Only woman on earth that smiles and get lipstick on both ears. Get that?
Both ears, right?
Yeah, both ears.
Say, you killed me. They say that in some parts of the world you can get 3 pounds of sugar, a pound of coffee, and a quart of whiskey, and a wife for just $3.
I bet that's some bad whiskey. I just read where a few years from now they'll be able to heat a whole apartment building with a lump of coal.
My landlord did that last winter. Say, if you had your choice of anything in the store, what would you take?
The cash register? Say, you know, I hear you're a good harmonica player.
Yes, I'm quite a good harmonica player.
No kidding.
In fact, I like the harmonica so much, I married a chick with every other tooth missing. Say, I heard you could tell fortunes by reading cards.
That's right. Once I predicted the future from a deck of cards.
Yeah?
When we found 5 aces in the deck, I predicted the dealer was going to the hospital.
Say, when are you gonna pay me the money you owe me?
What money?
You know what money. When you borrowed it, you said you were sick and you promised to pay it back.
Well, if I promised to pay it back, that shows you how sick I was.
See, we're killing them. Why don't we team up?
Yeah, you mean partners, integrate.
Yeah.
Well, what would we call a team?
Well, if we're gonna integrate, why don't we call it black and white? I'll be white.
Are you kidding?